On the news, President Tinubu transmits Rivers State 2025 appropriation bill to the National Assembly. Also in the news, a special report digs deep into parliamentary resolutions. Our correspondent explores their powers and limitations. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NTA Parliament News. I am Amina Saidu. President Bola Tinubu has forwarded the Rivers State 2025 budget of 1.48 trillion naira to the National Assembly for consideration and approval. The President says this follows the Supreme Court's nullification of the 2025 budget previously presented to the State House of Assembly by the suspended governor. It is also in line with the constitutional powers of the National Assembly to legislate for the state following the suspension of the State House of Assembly. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajuddin, read the President's letter at Thursday's plenary. 324 billion naira out of the proposed budget is for new and ongoing infrastructure projects in Rivers State, with 166 billion naira proposed for the health sector. 75.6 billion has been earmarked for education, while 31.4 billion naira is for agricultural projects in Rivers State. Senate has commended the gallantry of Nigeria's security personnel in curbing security breaches in the northeast and urges sustained efforts towards tackling insurgency by establishing a military base in Hong local government area of Adamawa State. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has more.
Reading taken.
This latest resolution urging reinforcement of troops in the northeast is coming 1 week after a similar call by the Senate with regards to a matter of urgent public importance from Senator Iya Abbas, co-sponsored by other senators from the region, noting recurring attacks by insurgents on communities, prompting a minute of silence for both the military and civilian victims.
On the 16th of May 2025, Kulda community in Garha ward of Hong local government was attacked. 16 people were killed. 90% of the houses, including place of worship, were burned down. People in the affected areas no longer go to farms.
Senate thereafter shifted attention to the harmful practice by some fruit sellers who use chemicals to make them ripe and asked relevant agencies to investigate following a motion from Senator Anthony Ani.
Calcium carbide contains impurities such as arsenic, lead particles, phosphorus, etc. that cause several health hazards such as cancer, heart, kidney, liver failures, neurological disorders, intestinal problems, skin damage, mouth ulcers, and so on.
We can amend any act of the Parliament to put stiff punishment or stiffer punishment for anybody that is engaged in this practice, because this is very deadly. Anybody can die unknowingly through this practice.
Plenary featured the second reading of bills to establish Federal University of Health Sciences Funtua, Katsina State, sponsored by Senator Muntari Danduze, and the bill to establish Federal University of Education Gumel, Jigawa State, sponsored by Senator Babangida Usaini.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu graciously give Funtua Zone this very important university because it's part of the 6 medical and health science that was approved.
The enactment of this bill will go a long way in transforming the decayed educational infrastructure in Nigeria and change the educational fortunes of the country for the better. It will also provide a balanced educational development of Jigawa State.
The bill that seeks the regulation of employment agencies by way of monitoring and licensing, sponsored by Senator Sani Musa, scaled second reading.
Issues in informal sector labor practices within the informal sector of Nigerian economy shows evidence of violation of employees' rights and non-implementation of labor regulations. 6
bills passed first reading, including the National Assembly Financial Management Establishments Bill. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Succor is on the way for federal pensioners as the House of Representatives has constituted an ad hoc committee to expedite the payment of palliative awards approved by the federal government. This resolution comes on the heels of a motion that highlights the struggles faced by pensioners who have been left high and dry since the palliative awards were announced in 2023. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikpen reports.
Being a federal government gesture.
Deputy Majority Whip of the House, Ayokunle Isiaka, highlights growing discontent among federal pensioners whose palliative awards are being delayed. In adopting the motion, lawmakers seek investigation and redress.
President Ahmed Tinubu, in October 2023, approved a 25,000 naira wage award, palliative and additional 32,000 naira pension increase for federal pensioners in Nigeria. All the Federal Minister of Finance to release all withheld palliative measures and ensure timely disbursement to alleviate the sufferings of pensioners.
How can you keep palliatives from Nigerian people that has been approved? If we do an investigation and we act on it and let some heads roll, that will serve as a deterrent for others.
2 weeks, we'll make sure this motion and the prayers of this motion is implemented so that our pensioners can get what is their due.
In a separate move, an ad hoc committee was constituted to take steps towards the rehabilitation of the Barrow Inland Port in Niger State.
Despite the completion of the Barrow physical infrastructure, development of basic equipment, and its commissioning in 2019, the port remains non-operational due to infrastructural and logistical challenges, including poor access roads.
Lawmakers also seek to investigate the backlog for issuance of driver's license, which was linked to alleged non-remittance of revenues for the process by the Vehicle Inspection Office.
Disturbed that the huge debts the Federal Road Safety Commission owes Galaxy Blackbone Limited and other system consultants who are the network providers and maintainers of the biometric data capturing system are responsible for the system slowdown.
Among legislations that scaled second reading was a constitution alteration bill seeking to establish the Office of State Auditors General for local governments and the FCT area councils.
To strengthen fiscal oversight, promote accountability, and enhance good governance at the grassroots.
The House do consider the reports of the Committee on Treaties, Protocols, and Agreements, and the environment on a bid for an act to provide for the conservation and the management of Nigerian wildlife.
11 bills passed first reading at Wednesday's plenary, including the Labour Act Amendment Bill 2025. From the National Assembly, Mitari Ikpen, NTA News.
Now, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has commended the founding fathers of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, for their vision of a united West Africa. This was during the opening of the 2025 First Ordinary Session and launching of the Silver Jubilee of the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja. ECOWAS Parliament correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
Seated here are parliamentarians from 12 member countries coming together for a purpose. Addressing the 6th legislature under the theme, One Region, One Dream, Advancing the Promise of West Africa, President of the Nigeria Senate, Godswill Akpabio, urged member states to renew their commitment to regional integration and shared prosperity.
ECOWAS was never meant to be a concept. It was meant to be a clarion call to every West African that our journey to greatness had just begun. And together we can write and rewrite a new chapter in the history of our beloved region.
He called for urgent action to address currency volatility, inflation, and limited inter-regional trade. Other speakers reiterated the need for a stronger support for industrialization, small and medium enterprises, and infrastructure development.
This celebration will not only be a moment of rejoicing, but also a moment of reflection and introspection on our achievements and on our prospects. In this regard, a summit of the future of West Africa is being proposed for our member states to agree on a compact on the future of the community.
This silver jubilee that we are celebrating must remind us that integration is not an inevitable destiny, but a daily choice that we must constantly cultivate and reinvent.
The celebration of Silver Jubilee of ECOWAS Parliament is scheduled for 16 November 2025. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Let's join Bilay Tunkara, the 4th Deputy Speaker of ECOWAS Parliament, to speak more on the establishment of the ECOWAS Parliament and its journey so far. You're welcome to NTA Parliament.
Thank you very much for having me to speak to the audience of NTA of ECOWAS Parliament.
Can you briefly tell us the significance of the ECOWAS Parliament and why its anniversary is important?
ECOWAS Parliament at 25 is very important, and its celebration is very significant. It is the beacon of hope for democracy in the sub-region. Beacon of hope in the sense that it's where democracy is rested, and it's where people's representatives do come and then usher their voice, speak for the voiceless, and speak for the masses. So it is very important that we reflect, on the past 25 years, what have we really achieved, what are the prospects that are lying ahead of us, and what are our challenges as well. So it's a moment of reflection and retrospection as well in terms of the prospects that are also lying ahead.
What will you say are the major achievements of the ECOWAS Parliament?
I think ECOWAS Parliament has really, because if you look at the Parliament in itself, is an advocacy parliament. It advocates for the rights of people. It represents the views and aspirations of people. It also makes sure that it amplifies the voices, and also help in terms of creating awareness about treaties and conventions that have been agreed, by the heads of state and government, in terms of domesticating, protocols, agreements, good practice document, democracies, rule of law, and accountability. So the Parliament has been very key, in terms of standing up for people, making sure that their voices are heard. So in a nutshell, I think the Parliament is very pivotal in any democracy to strive.
How has the Parliament influenced peace, security, and democratic governance in the West African region?
We have succeeded in terms of bringing people to ECOWAS, because it is part and parcel of the aims and objectives of ECOWAS, that is to make sure there's free movement of people, and then we are now moving from even free movement of people to ECOWAS of people now, instead of ECOWAS of state to ECOWAS of people. And I think the Parliament representation is a true reflection of that embodiment. And then it has really succeeded in terms of bridging barriers that existed among us as members of Parliament. So when you come here, you have that kind of fraternity, that kind of support, that kind of solidarity that we normally share among each other. And we make sure that we bring Parliament to nations, to countries. We organize meetings there, we organize extraordinary sessions there, we organize delocalized meetings there. These are all geared towards inclusivity, social inclusion, in the entire parliamentary process, as far as ECOWAS is concerned. So Parliament has really, really amplified the voice of the integration of ECOWAS citizens. Parliament has also bring ECOWAS citizen voices to be heard in the Parliament. Those are great achievements. So as people representative, our number one role is to amplify the voice of the voiceless and also hold the ECOWAS institutions to account. And that has been done in the past years since its inception. So basically, these are great achievements in terms of creating awareness and also helping the ECOWAS system in achieving its mandate, its aims and objective, its vision in terms of integration as well as the free movement of people within the sub-region.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, for your time.
Thank you very much.
This is NTA Parliament News. We will take a break. The news continues shortly.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your sure channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the marketing department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080 383 40464 or 080 770 78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Welcome back. Cross River State Governor Basiotu has signed into law 3 bills seeking to regulate the gaming industry, improve infrastructure development, and enhance the welfare of senior citizens, stressing the importance of the laws to actualizing his administration's bid in prioritizing development and good governance. Justina Etim tells us more.
The 3 bills assented to by the governor are the Cross River State Road Maintenance Agency Amendment Law 2025, the Cross River State Citizens Center Law 2025, and the Cross River State Lotteries and Gaming Agency Law 2025. Governor too hails the people-centric approach of the Cross River State House of Assembly, which he says is evident in the enactment and speedy passage of laws which strengthens governance, thereby addressing the needs of the people.
Like the lottery, the gaming law, our money is being even trapped somewhere as we speak because we are unable to get this law sorted. But I want to believe that with that, we're going to meet up immediately and catch up with all others who have already gone ahead of us. The Citizen Center is something that is long overdue. Whether we like it or not, the aged, particularly those ones who are putting a lot of years to building what we have as a state today, they need special attention. And this government, because it's people first, we do not segregate whether you're young or old. But it's very clear that the elderly are even more vulnerable. They need that guidance and protection.
Speaker, Cross River State's House of Assembly, Elvet Ayambem, elaborates on the new laws.
To amend the Road and Maintenance Agency Law number 5/2009. The essence of the amendment is to create additional source of revenue for the agency and provide, as provided in Section 10 of the Principal Law. The amendment is done in furtherance to the recently amended local government law, which made provision for 4% contribution by the 18 local government councils from their monthly federal allocations for maintenance of roads. It's the Cross River State Lottery and Gaming Agency Law 2025. Your Excellency, this bill establishes an agency to manage and control the gaming sector in the state. The bill was passed by the House after careful consideration of the recent Supreme Court judgment. There is a Supreme Court judgment attached to this bill.
It is expected that these laws, when implemented, will boost revenue generation, enhance social inclusion, and advance economic growth in the states. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
In another development, Delta State House of Assembly has dismissed a petition on the alleged stoppage of salary and removal of the name Ipitikori Ogenemborem from the payroll of the Delta State government by the Office of the Accountant General for lack of merit. Godfrey Nzeku reports that the Chairman Special Committee on Bills and Leader of the House, Emeka Nwaobi, also presented a report on the Delta State Community Security Corps Agency Amendment Bill 2025.
Presenting the committee's report on the alleged stoppage of salary and removal of the name of Akwitikori Ogenebrohen from the payroll of the Delta State government by the Office of the Accountant General, the chairman of the Committee on Public Petitions, Matthew Omonade, stated that the petitioner Akwitikori, employed into the Delta State Civil Service and deployed to an office in Abo, where he functioned as a cashier in 2013, alleged that there was an allegation of misappropriation and embezzlement under his watch. The chairman of the committee further stated the investigative hearing, respondents' submission, findings, and recommendations. The House adopted the committee's recommendations after the approval of an additional recommendation sought by the member representing Bomadi State constituency, Kenneth Oboro-Preyo.
In view of the preceding paragraph, the committee invited and forwarded copies of the petition to the respondent for its information and necessary actions, as well as the petitioner who appeared before the committee on the 25th of February, 11th of March, and 8th of April 2025, respectively. The petitioner did not make any formal complaint when his salary was stopped for several years now. There is not even a single letter of complaint from him to his employer. That the contention of the petitioner that the then Director of Personnel Management, Mrs. Oko, gave him verbal directive to be off duty was debunked by Exhibit B2, which is a query dated 17th April 2020, duly signed by the said Mrs. G. Oko. The said Mrs. G. Oko could not have issued a query if he was the one that gave the petitioner the directive to stay off work. Let us see the commission. Should, as a matter of urgency, follow up the case of First Stadium Quadri and the Abandon of First, the two Aurora case stadium to this multiple problems. In line with the recommendations presented by the committee and amended by this Honorable House, one, that the House is consider this petition and dismiss it for lack of merit. Two, the House will direct the respondent to take all necessary steps towards invoking the penalty for absenteeism as stipulated in the Delta State Public Service Rules 2012 on the petitioner, so as to serve as a deterrent to other different civil servants. That in order to bring finality to this issue, the committee urges the House to bar the petitioner from presenting this petition again before the Delta State House of Assembly. And lastly, that the Honorable House directs the Delta State Civil Service Commission to follow up on the criminal aspects of the 480 million allegedly embezzled by the petitioner and others, with a pending case with the police to bring it to its logical conclusion. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay.
The chairman, Special Committee on Bills and leader of the House, Emeka Nwobi, also presented the report of the committee on Delta State Community Security Agency Amendment Bill 2025, which was referred to the Committee of the Whole House and to report back on June 4th. The House adjourned plenary to Tuesday, May 27, 2025. In Asaba, Godfrey Nzekwe, NTA News.
And the Borno State House of Assembly has deliberated on a motion appealing for the relocation of Giwa Barracks from the heart of Maiduguri to the outskirts of the city in a bid to safeguard the lives and property of nearby residents. Umar Jimbarima has more.
The motion was raised by Abokolo Abakari, member representing Jere constituency, and was presided over by the Deputy Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly, Abdullahi Musa Askira. Members of the Assembly unanimously supported the motion, noting that relocation is the most viable option to ensure the safety of lives and properties and to prevent a recurrence of past dangerous incidents linked to the barracks' current location.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I would like to take us back on a history lane small. Giwa Barracks in the 70s and early 80s was initially designed to house the headquarters of the Nigerian Army Signal Section.
Ultimately, the motion received unanimous support and was formally moved forward by the Deputy Speaker, appealing to the Borno State government to liaise with federal government in supporting the motion.
I was expecting at least one of the contributions should mention that future barracks, the bodies of Minister of Land, whatsoever it is, should please avoid subdivision or reallocation of land very close to the military formation of security offices, please.
The sitting was adjourned to June 24, 2025 by the Deputy Speaker in Maiduguri. Umar Jimbarima, NTA News.
Parliamentary resolutions are formal decisions taken by a legislative assembly, usually related to public policy for national issues. These resolutions are not law, but carry significant political weight, often influencing government action and public opinion. Ignatius Nko in this report takes a look at the potency of this legislative instrument.
Decisions of Parliament are formalized through a process of debate as resolutions. From interventions on traffic situations to matters of budget allocation and national security. In Nigeria, just like in other democracies, parliamentary resolutions have shaped national discourse, with the National Assembly passing several bills and resolutions aimed at addressing urgent national issues. While parliamentary resolutions are powerful, they are not immune to legal scrutiny. In some cases, the judiciary has stepped in to review the legality of these resolutions, particularly when their scope seems to be in conflict with the Constitution.
The judiciary is there as the referee that is upholding rules and regulations and interpreting the Constitution when there are issues.
While Parliament has the authority to pass resolutions, these must stay within the framework of the Constitution and are subject to the consideration of the Executive. They are not binding on the Executive as they are advisory in nature.
The impulse of the people should be our worry, and we must act, in addressing them.
Any reasonable executive will have to have a second thought on whatever resolution that is put forward, because the implementation of the resolutions lies squarely with the executive. By the time it goes bad, the executive will be blamed.
When a resolution goes beyond that, the judiciary has the responsibility to review and ensure constitutional compliance. For instance, in 2018, the National Assembly reordering the sequence of elections for the 2019 general elections, placing the presidential election last, but court nullified that amendment, ruling that only INEC has the right to organize and conduct elections.
I heard one of the chambers amending the standing orders to say that you must be there must be a ranking or non-ranking. These matters have been decided by the courts.
These court rulings often set precedents, defining the limits of parliamentary powers and strict adherence to the doctrine of separation of powers. Ignatius Nko, NTA News.
The Kaduna State House of Assembly has passed the Senior Secondary School Education Board Bill and Related Matters 2025. The sponsor of the bill and member representing Zaria City constituency, Mahmoud Lawal Ismaila, explained that the legislation is aimed at strengthening and reforming the management and administration of senior secondary education across the state.
Following the presentation of a report by the chairman of the Committee on Education and member representing Zaria City constituency, lawmakers engage in a debate, raising questions, making observations and offering suggestions before unanimously passing it into law.
Teacher service boards before do operate in both senior and junior secondary school. But the coming into law of this bill, now the TSB is no longer in existence, and the bill, the Senior Secondary School Education Board, will take over after appears in the Teacher Service Board.
In a surprising development, the House also considered the bill seeking to amend the Kaduna State Traditional Institution Law No. 21 of 2021. During deliberations, lawmakers offered comments and recommendations, noting that the matter is currently before the court and awaiting adjudication. As a result, the bill was referred to the Joint Committee on Local Government and Judiciary for further review.
We are going to sit down, look at it, discuss with relevant stakeholders, and see how this bill will be dissected to favor all sections of the community. Well, as for me and my people, we're not asking for too much. All we are saying is that the part of my people they put in Kachar children, we should bring them back to Ham children. We need more district heads in my community because it will help in fostering peaceful coexistence to enhance security and ease of administration.
Other bills were also forwarded to relevant committees for detailed scrutiny. This includes a bill to establish the Kaduna State Mining Development Company 2025 and a bill for the establishment of the Kaduna State College of Agricultural Technology and Environmental Sciences Saminaka 2025. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
That's our package this evening. You can follow us for news updates on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thanks for watching and do have a great evening. I am Amina Saidu.